Convenient as the helicopter has been for making runs, we can't really say we've ridden these mountains until we've climbed these mountains. And while the hut at Ikamute has been a blessing, it's time for us to go deeper into the wild. Gear must be loaded again and the expedition reorganized so that we can make our way into the mountains.
The amount of gear that we have to take with us doesn't look like much when it's just hanging around here on the deck, but when you stuff it all into your backpack, put it on your back, it's a pretty heavy load. Fortunately, our bare essentials also include all of our camera gear, the sound gear, skiing and climbing gear, and a lifetime supply of beef jerky. So, as light as we can be, we're still a pretty heavy group.
Swede has scouted a route up the coast through a geological wonder called Evjitsfjord, the everlasting fjord. We'll navigate along the coastline into the wind and against the tide, in hope of reaching a place where the shore is flat enough to camp. At the end of Evjitsfjord stands the coastal giant, Assasit, an imposing peak that has never known the track of a ski or a snowboard. Recent reports from local pilots indicate that the normal coating of blue ice on the north face may be sufficiently snow-covered. It would be an absolute triumph to make the first descent. In order to find out whether or not it's skiable, we have to go and see. Greenland is an island of stone walls that plunge into the sea. In 4 hours aboard the boats, across mile after mile of fjord, we pass hardly any place suitable to camp along the shore. Finally arriving at the end of the fjord, our campsite does indeed look perfect. Elevated, flat, protected from the wind. Only one problem. In the narrow of the fjord, the water is frozen to a depth of 2 feet and extends half a mile out from the shore. The only way to land is to crush our way through.
We got into the pack guys here and had to do some pretty good ice breaking moves here with these fiberglass boats.
Accompanied by the sickening crunch of fiberglass and steel, we maneuver our way through the jagged edges of the floe, the weight and determination of our tiny boats forging a way where no way existed before.
Craziest boat ride I've ever been on.
You know, if this guy lived in Moab, he'd be into Jeeps. He lives in Greenland, he's into boats, and you know, does it just like the icebreakers. Just hose the boat up on the ice until it, you know, so much of the boat gets on it, there's enough weight to break through, and if we gotta back up a little bit to get the next heave-ho going, that's what we do. But as you can see, you know, we have worked our way in here a good, 300 yards at this point, and man's getting us to where we need to be.
Well, we finally made it to base camp. Well, we have to unload too. We're not there yet. Yeah, look at this. What a beautiful place. Green, well, not really green, but dry.
Okay, we finally made it to the end here of Evjitsfjord, at the bottom of our route for Assasit. This is where we'll start. It'll really be a climb from sea level to about 6,500 feet.
As the wind picks up, we hurry to set up camp. A sunny day can quickly turn ferocious in the fjords, and the storm can last a long time.
The last thing we saw was Jay Nelson's tent being lifted by the wind and headed for the fjord behind us. He was lucky to catch it right at the edge of the ice, otherwise we would have been one tent short, and the seals in their seal holes would have had a tent to play with. But that big wind lasted for the rest of the afternoon, made the life kind of hectic. Everything had to be tied down very quickly. The tents had to be secured. We were lucky we had them up when we did, otherwise they might not have gotten set up.
To camp in Greenland is to share the ground with people who slept here 50 or 50,000 years before. We are surrounded by spirits. Their bones rest in shallow, stone-covered graves, their voices carrying on winds that rarely cease. We sleep among them and hope their control of this place will allow us a moment or two of comfort.